Most people wake up and immediately see what's missing, not what's there. They count their problems before they count their blessings. But the truth is, the mind sees what it's trained to see. You can walk through the same world as everyone else and still live in a completely different reality, simply because you've trained your mind to look for light instead of darkness. Every day, life tests you. It shows you things that could break you or build you, and your mind decides which one it will be. The same event that makes one person bitter can make another person wise. The same pain that destroys one heart can open another. So the question isn't what happens to you, but how your mind chooses to see it. To train your mind to see the good in life is to take control of your inner world. It's not denial, it's discipline. It's learning to shift your focus from what drains you to what sustains you. When you start seeing beauty in simple things, when you find lessons in every loss, when you choose gratitude over complaint, you don't just change your mood, you change your entire frequency. Number 1. Practice selective attention. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you water grows, and whatever you neglect withers. Every single day your attention is the water. You may not realize it, but you are constantly feeding certain thoughts, emotions and experiences, not because they deserve it, but because you've allowed them to occupy your inner space. If you water weeds, they will grow wild and choke the flowers. If you water the flowers, beauty will take over. The power of your life lies in where you choose to look. Every morning, life lays before you both pain and peace, struggle and strength, noise and silence, and yet you only experience the parts you focus on. You could be surrounded by blessings, but if your mind has been trained to see only what's missing, you will walk through paradise feeling poor. This is why selective attention is not ignorance, it's wisdom. It's not pretending everything is perfect, it's recognizing that not everything deserves your focus. Think of the mind as a lens. When it's dirty with judgment, negativity, or self-doubt, even the brightest light looks dull. But when you clean the lens, when you deliberately shift your focus toward what's good, what's useful, what's growing, the world begins to reveal its beauty again. The truth is, life doesn't change first, perception does. And once perception changes, everything else follows. When you practice selective attention, you are teaching your mind that peace matters more than problems. You are training yourself to respond instead of react. You begin to notice the person who smiles at you instead of the one who ignores you. You begin to feel the air in your lungs instead of the weight on your shoulders. You begin to find something beautiful in each day, even when the day is far from perfect. Imagine walking through a forest. If all you do is look for snakes, you will miss the sunlight filtering through the trees, the sound of the river, the scent of the earth after rain. But if you look for the path, for the rhythm of nature, you will walk with awareness, not fear. Life works the same way. The danger will always exist. The noise will always be there. But peace requires attention. You have to understand, your mind cannot hold two focuses at the same time. You can't look for the bad and expect to see the good. You can't complain and feel grateful in the same breath. You must choose moment by moment which energy you allow to grow. Selective attention means saying no to the thoughts that drain your spirit and yes to the ones that strengthen it. It means looking at the same event through a wiser lens. You may lose something, but you also gain perspective. You may be hurt, but you also become stronger. You may fall, but you also learn how to rise. This discipline begins in the smallest moments. When someone criticizes you, your mind wants to replay their words over and over. Instead, pause and ask, what truth can I take from this? And what can I let go of? When your plans fail, the mind wants to label it as disaster. Instead, focus on what this failure is making possible, perhaps a redirection towards something better. Each time you choose the higher perspective, you are sharpening your inner sight. Selective attention does not mean avoiding reality. It means filtering it with awareness. It's knowing that not every battle deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your reaction. Not every thought deserves your belief. The more you practice this, the more powerful your presence becomes. You stop being pulled by every storm because you have learned to anchor your focus in what's real, what's valuable, what's peaceful. The human mind has an ancient habit to protect by predicting danger. That's why it's easier to see what's wrong than what's right. But you are not your ancient mind, you are the awareness behind it. You can retrain it, you can teach it that joy is not weakness, that gratitude is not denial, that optimism is not ignorance, it is power. Because when your attention rises, your energy rises. When your energy rises, your entire life begins to align with it. So begin today. The next time your mind wants to focus on what's missing, gently guide it toward what's present. When it wants to dwell on what's broken, remind it of what's still working. When it wants to complain, let it give thanks instead. Do this not once but again and again, until your focus becomes your nature. Because when you master your attention, you master your reality. And remember, the world you see is not a reflection of what's there, it's a reflection of what you choose to look for. Number 2, turn challenges into teacher. Pain is a language most people try to silence, but it's also one of the greatest teachers you will ever have. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every fall carries within it a message meant for you, but only if you're willing to listen. Most people spend their lives running from their pain, blaming the world for their struggles, wishing things were easier, but the truth is, the purpose of challenge is not to destroy you, it's to awaken you. Life doesn't test your strength to watch you break, it tests it to remind you how strong you've always been. When something goes wrong, your first reaction is to resist. You want to escape it, deny it, push it away. But what if instead you leaned in? What if you looked your challenge in the eye and asked it, "What are you here to teach me?" Suddenly, the entire experience changes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become a student of your growth. The same mountain that once looked impossible becomes a lesson in endurance. The same wound that hurt you becomes a reminder of your resilience. Think of life as a great dojo, a place of training. Every obstacle that appears before you is not a punishment, but a form of practice. You are being trained to develop patience when things move slowly, strength when things feel heavy, compassion when others fail you, and clarity when the world grows chaotic. The outer battle is only ever a reflection of the inner one. If you can learn to find peace within, while chaos rages outside, then no situation can truly control you. When life throws you into darkness, it's not to blind you, it's to sharpen your other senses. In the dark, you learn to feel your way through. You learn to trust your intuition. You learn to move with awareness. That's what challenge does. It strips away comfort so that awareness can grow. Comfort never teaches, only friction does. Diamonds are born under pressure. Muscles grow from tension. Minds expand through challenge. So when life pushes you, it's not trying to break you, it's trying to build the strength you'll need for what comes next. But growth requires perspective. If you only see pain, you'll suffer. If you see purpose, you'll evolve. The moment you change the way you interpret your challenge, you reclaim your power. For example, when someone betrays you, your mind screams in anger, but your heart has just been taught the value of loyalty and discernment. When a plan collapses, it feels like loss, but it may have just cleared your path for something far greater. When you fail, it hurts, but it also humbles you, focuses you, and reminds you to try again with more wisdom than before. You see, life has two kinds of lessons, the ones that whisper and the ones that roar. When you ignore the whisper, life raises its voice. The louder the challenge, the deeper the lesson. And once you understand this, your whole relationship with struggle changes. You no longer curse the storm, you start asking what it came to teach you. You no longer shrink under pressure, you start growing roots beneath it. Every great soul you admire has walked through fire, not because they wanted to, but because life gave them no choice. The difference is, they used the fire to purify them, not burn them. They used pain as a doorway, not a wall. That is what you must do. Stop seeing your challenges as enemies and start seeing them as mentors. Each one is shaping you in ways you can't yet see. So the next time you fall, don't rush to stand up. Sit for a moment. Feel the pain, let it speak. There's wisdom hiding beneath the discomfort. A truth about who you are, what you value, and what you're capable of becoming. When you stop resisting your lessons, you begin to transform them. You will realize that no challenge truly defeated you. It simply revealed a part of you that was waiting to be awakened. And from that moment on, you stop fearing difficulty because you finally understand that life is not happening to you. It's happening for you to help you grow into someone capable of seeing the good in everything, even the struggle itself. So when the next storm comes, don't hide, stand tall, breathe deeply, and remember this. Challenges are not here to block your path. They are the path. Number 3. Make gratitude a daily ritual. Gratitude is not something you do when life feels good. It's what makes life feel good. Most people wait for happiness to arrive before they give thanks. But happiness isn't a destination, it's a state of perception. It's born the moment you decide to notice what's already working, what's already beautiful, what's already enough. Gratitude is not about ignoring your pain, it's about remembering that even in pain, something within you still breathes, still hopes, still has a reason to keep going. Each morning, when your eyes open, you're being given another chance. You breathe air that you didn't create. You stand on a world that continues to turn without your command. And yet so many forget to see the miracle in that. They rush into their day counting problems instead of blessings, measuring lack instead of abundance. But you can choose differently. You can make gratitude not a reaction, but a ritual. Something sacred you return to every single day, no matter what storms life brings. Imagine your mind as a cup. When it's full of worry, anger, or regret, there's no space left for peace. Gratitude empties that cup. It cleans the vessel so that joy can return. It's a gentle discipline to pause before reacting, to breathe before complaining, to see before judging. Every time you practice gratitude, you're training your mind to focus on presence instead of absence. You're teaching it to recognize that even in chaos, there are still gifts all around you. Think of the small things, the warmth of sunlight touching your face, the sound of laughter in a quiet room, the comfort of clean water, a kind word, the strength of your heartbeat. These are not small at all, they are the threads holding your life together. But if your eyes are always looking for what's wrong, you will never see them. Gratitude is the act of slowing down enough to notice. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It transforms moments into blessings. The mind, when left untrained, becomes addicted to what's missing. It finds problems even in peace. It looks for reasons to worry instead of reasons to smile. But the practice of gratitude rewires that pattern. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to reshape itself through focus and repetition. Spiritually, it's transformation. The more you express gratitude, the more your mind begins to scan the world for things to be thankful for. You shift from scarcity to abundance, from resistance to acceptance, from surviving to living. There will be days when gratitude feels difficult, when loss, disappointment, or uncertainty fill your heart, but those are the days it matters most. Because gratitude during comfort is appreciation, gratitude during chaos is power. It's the quiet rebellion against the voice that says nothing is working. It's you saying something still is. That awareness changes everything. It doesn't erase pain, but it gives you the strength to walk through it with peace. Try this. Each morning, before you touch your phone, name 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand. Perhaps the breath in your lungs, the chance to try again, or the lessons hidden in yesterday's mistakes. And at night, before you close your eyes, reflect on one good thing that happened that day, no matter how small. Over time, this practice becomes more than a habit. It becomes a way of seeing. You start finding reasons to smile where before you saw none. You begin to meet each day not with resistance, but with reverence. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop striving for more. It simply means you stop overlooking what's already here. Because the truth is, the person who cannot appreciate what they have now will not appreciate what they receive later. Gratitude opens the door to more, not because the universe suddenly gives you more, but because you finally become aware of how much you already have. When you live in gratitude, life softens, the noise quiets, the constant hunger for more begins to fade, replaced by a calm knowing that you are enough, that today is enough, that this moment is enough. Gratitude is not a task to complete, it's a frequency to live on. The more you tune your heart to it, the more beauty life reveals to you. So let each day begin and end with thanks. Not because everything is perfect, but because gratitude itself makes everything better. In the end, it's not the happiest people who are grateful. It's the most grateful people who are truly happy. Number 4. Guard your inputs. Your mind is the garden where your future grows, and everything you allow inside becomes a seed. Some seeds bloom into peace, strength, and clarity, others grow into fear, anger, and confusion. The difference lies not in chance, but in what you choose to plant. Every sound you hear, every word you read, every image you consume, every conversation you entertain, all of it is shaping the soil of your inner world. So if you want a peaceful mind, you must first protect its gates. Most people don't realize how much influence the outer world has over their inner world. They wake up and immediately feed on noise, news headlines filled with fear, opinions disguised as truth, arguments on screens that leave them restless and bitter. Then they wonder why their hearts feel heavy before the day even begins. But you must become the guardian of your own peace. You must choose carefully what you allow to enter, because not everything that is available is meant for your mind. Imagine your mind as a still lake. When the water is calm, it reflects the sky perfectly, every cloud, every color, every beam of light. But if you constantly throw stones into it, negative words, toxic media, draining conversations, the surface ripples with chaos, and you can no longer see clearly. Guarding your inputs means protecting the stillness of that lake. It means being selective about who and what has permission to disturb your inner calm. The truth is, everything carries energy. Some people leave you feeling lighter after you speak with them. Others leave you feeling tired, as though they've taken something from you. Some songs lift your soul, others pull it down. Some thoughts open your heart, others close it. Awareness is the key. You must begin to notice how the things you consume make you feel, not just in the moment, but in the hours that follow. Your energy speaks before your words do. What you take in will eventually find a way out through your emotions, your decisions, your attitude, and your actions. Guarding your inputs is not about living in isolation, it's about living with intention. It's about deciding which voices deserve your attention and which do not. Because not every voice is truth and not every vibration aligns with your purpose. If you constantly feed your mind with chaos, you'll start to believe the world is only chaos. But if you feed it with wisdom, silence, and beauty, you'll begin to see those same qualities reflected back in life. The world doesn't change, you do. And when you change your frequency, the world begins to match it. There's a saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But this extends far beyond people. You are also the average of the ideas you listen to, the shows you watch, the words you repeat, and the energy you absorb. If you spend your days consuming anger, comparison, or fear, don't be surprised when peace feels distant. But if you choose content that expands your mind, people who lift your heart, and environments that bring stillness, peace will naturally rise within you. Be deliberate. Curate your surroundings the same way you would protect a sacred space. Choose silence over noise. Choose truth over gossip. Choose reading over scrolling. Choose conversations that challenge you to grow over ones that keep you small. And most importantly, learn to step back when the world feels too loud. Even your devices, these glowing portals of endless distraction, can become cages if you don't set boundaries. Learn to unplug, learn to return to stillness. It's in the quiet that clarity is born. Guarding your inputs also means watching your own words. What you speak is what you reinforce. If you constantly talk about your fears, you give them power. If you keep repeating your struggles, you make them your identity. But if you speak faith, gratitude, and strength, your mind begins to believe it. The words you release return to you multiplied. Make sure they're worth receiving. In the end, your outer world will always try to influence your inner one. But the wise do not absorb everything. They filter what serves their spirit and let go of what doesn't. So start paying attention. Ask yourself, does this make me lighter or heavier, calmer or more restless, wiser or more confused? And trust your answer. Because the more carefully you guard the gates of your mind, the more peace you will find inside them. Your thoughts are sacred ground. Not everyone and everything deserves to enter. Protect it with the same devotion you would protect your breath. For when your mind stays pure, your life will follow. Most people wake up and immediately see what's missing, not what's there. They count their problems before they count their blessings. But the truth is, the mind sees what it's trained to see. You can walk through the same world as everyone else and still live in a completely different reality. simply because you've trained your mind to look for light instead of darkness. Most people wake up and immediately see what's missing, not what's there. They count their problems before they count their blessings. But the truth is, the mind sees what it's trained to see. You can walk through the same world as everyone else and still live in a completely different reality, simply because you've trained your mind to look for light instead of darkness. Number 5. Slow down and observe. In a world that glorifies speed, stillness has become a forgotten strength. Everyone is rushing somewhere, chasing something, proving something, escaping something. But in that rush, life slips through unnoticed. You may move fast, but if you never slow down to truly see, to truly feel, you're not living. You're merely passing through moments without touching them. Sometimes slowing down isn't a delay, it's an awakening. You've been conditioned to believe that faster is better. Faster success, faster results, faster answers. But the truth is, most of life's beauty hides in the spaces between. When you slow down, you begin to notice what your busyness has been blinding you from. The softness in someone's eyes when they smile. The sound of the wind playing through the trees. The silence that rests beneath the noise. There is an entire world happening in every single breath, and most people are too distracted to notice it. Think about it. When was the last time you ate without scrolling, walked without rushing, or sat in silence without reaching for a screen? We have mistaken motion for progress, but speed without awareness only leads you further from yourself. The faster you move, the less you feel. The less you feel, the more disconnected you become. Slowing down is not about doing less, it's about being more. More present, more aware, more alive in each moment. When you learn to slow down, you begin to see the patterns hidden in your life. You start recognizing how your thoughts shape your emotions, how your emotions shape your actions, and how your actions create your reality. You realize that most problems don't need immediate reaction, they need observation. Because in observation, clarity is born. When you pause, you can see things as they are, not as your anxiety or impatience tries to convince you they are. There's a deep wisdom in silence and slowness. Watch a tree, it doesn't rush to grow. Watch the ocean, it doesn't hurry to move. Yet both hold immense power in their calmness. You too carry that same power. When you slow down, your inner vision sharpens. You begin to notice the lessons hidden in ordinary days, the signs that life has been whispering to you all along. You begin to see that life has never stopped speaking. You just needed to stop running long enough to listen. Slowing down is also how you train your mind to see the good in life. Because goodness is subtle, it doesn't shout, it hides in quiet corners, in small moments, in the rhythm of your breathing, in the warmth of morning light. If you're moving too fast, you'll miss it. You'll miss the beauty that's been patiently waiting for you to notice it. You'll miss the peace that can only be found when you're not chasing it. Observation is a form of meditation. It brings you into direct contact with the present moment, not as it was yesterday or how it might be tomorrow, but as it is right now. When you observe instead of react, you begin to see the difference between what's real and what's imagined. You start catching the stories your mind creates before they take control. And in that awareness, you find freedom. Freedom from unnecessary worry. Freedom from emotional noise. Freedom from living unconsciously. So, slow down. Walk slower, speak slower, breathe slower, let the world move as it will, but do not let it drag your mind with it. The speed of the world is not the speed of your soul. The soul moves with rhythm, not urgency. It doesn't rush to arrive, it deepens where it stands. Every time you choose stillness over haste, you return to that rhythm. Life's most meaningful truths are revealed in moments of quiet observation. That's where you begin to understand what truly matters and what never did. That's where you begin to notice how much beauty has been surrounding you all along, waiting for your awareness to catch up. You don't have to chase peace, you just have to slow down enough to meet it. Because when you stop rushing, the world opens up, the noise fades, the mind settles, and life finally begins to reveal its gentle, miraculous details. Remember this, the faster you go, the less you see. But when you slow down and truly observe, even the smallest moment becomes enough to fill your entire heart. Number 6. Speak life into your world. Your words are spells, and every time you speak, you cast one on your mind, on your emotions, on your life. What you say repeatedly becomes what you see eventually. Most people speak without awareness, releasing words filled with doubt, limitation, and complaint, not realizing that they are painting the walls of their own reality. The tongue is small, but its power is vast. It can build peace or summon chaos, create healing or deepen pain. When you learn to speak life into your world, you begin to shape your existence with intention, not reaction. Every word you speak is a seed. When you say I can't, you plant the seed of defeat. When you say I'll try, you plant hesitation. But when you say I can, I will, or I am learning, you plant confidence, progress, and growth. The soil of your mind doesn't discriminate. It simply grows whatever you plant. So if your inner garden is filled with weeds of negativity, it's not because life has cursed you, but because you have unknowingly fed it with words that weaken your spirit. Think about how often you talk about what's wrong instead of what's possible. You say, I'm so tired, nothing ever works out, I'm not enough. And the mind, obedient, loyal, unquestioning, begins to create a reality that matches those words. You see exhaustion everywhere, obstacles in every direction, and evidence of your own doubt. But when you change your language, your world begins to shift. I'm tired becomes I need to rest and recharge. Nothing ever works becomes I'm learning what doesn't work. I'm not enough becomes I'm growing stronger every day. The situation may remain the same, but your experience of it transforms because your words are directing your perception. It's easy to forget how powerful language truly is. Words are not just sounds, they are vibrations, and vibration affects matter. Science proves that sound waves can move particles, shift frequencies, and change structure. Spiritually, it's no different. The energy of your speech reshapes the structure of your inner world. Every complaint lowers your frequency. Every affirmation raises it. You are constantly tuning yourself with your own voice. Be mindful of how you speak about your life, even in small things. Don't call your dreams impossible. Don't label your days boring. Don't joke about failure or make pain your identity. The words you repeat, even casually, become the truths your mind begins to defend. Instead, begin to speak light where there was darkness. Say, I'm still learning when you make mistakes. Say, I'm grateful even when life feels uncertain. Say, I'm becoming stronger even when you feel weak. Your voice can either imprison you or free you. The choice lies in how you use it. You must also learn to speak life into others, because when you lift someone with your words, you lift yourself. Every encouraging sentence you give away strengthens the vibration you live within. When you bless others, you amplify that same energy in your own life. The mind that constantly looks for something kind to say naturally begins to see more goodness in the world. And that too is how you train your mind to see the good in life, through the words you speak into it. This practice requires awareness. You have to listen to yourself, not to judge, but to understand what you've been feeding your mind. Notice the tone of your self-talk. Notice the language you use when you're frustrated. If you caught a friend speaking to themselves the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would you call it encouragement or abuse? Speak to yourself with the same gentleness you would offer someone you love, because you are, after all, listening. There is great discipline in choosing your words carefully. It's easy to speak from emotion, to complain when things feel heavy, to let fear spill out through speech. But mastery is found in restraint, in pausing before you speak, in letting awareness filter your voice. Before you say something, ask, will this add peace or remove it? Will it bring me closer to who I want to become or further away? The more conscious you become, the more power your words will carry. Speak life, and you will begin to live it. Speak love, and you will begin to feel it. Speak strength, and it will start to rise within you. Because your words are not just reflections of your reality, they are blueprints for it. So let every word that leaves your mouth be aligned with the world you wish to see. Build with your speech, not destroy. Heal with your voice, not harm. Because once you understand the power hidden in a single sentence, you will never speak carelessly again. And when your words finally align with truth, with faith, and with gratitude, you will no longer need to chase light. You'll realize you've been creating it all along, every time you chose to speak life into your world. Number 7. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Perfection is a mirage. You see it shimmering in the distance, and you run toward it, thinking that once you arrive, life will finally feel complete. But the closer you get, the farther it seems to drift away. Because perfection isn't meant to be reached, it's meant to teach you. It's there to show you direction, not destination. And when you stop chasing perfection and begin celebrating progress, you finally free yourself from the invisible chains of not enough. You see, the mind loves to measure. It compares, it judges, it tallies wins and losses like a restless accountant of the soul. You take one step forward, and the mind whispers, "But look how far you still have to go." You achieve something you once prayed for, and the mind says, "Yes, but it's still not perfect." This constant chase drains your joy. You forget that progress, even in its smallest form, is sacred. Every breath of effort, every inch of growth, every lesson learned through struggle, it all counts. Think about how a tree grows. It doesn't stretch to the sky overnight. Each day it grows quietly, layer by layer, cell by cell. You cannot see the progress, but it's happening. Even when it stands still in winter, its roots are deepening in silence. Yet no one mocks the tree for not blooming fast enough. No one demands perfection from it. And still it grows patiently, steadily, faithfully. Why then do you expect yourself to bloom perfectly in every season? When you learn to celebrate progress, you begin to see life differently. You stop punishing yourself for not being there yet, and you start appreciating the courage it takes to keep going. Maybe you're not where you want to be, but you're not where you were. That's something to honor. Growth is not measured by how perfectly you perform, it's measured by how persistently you rise. Look at the child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, they cry, but no one tells them, "You're failing." Instead, people cheer for every tiny step, because we understand that falling is part of learning. Somewhere along the way, we lose that grace for ourselves. We forget that progress is still progress, even if it's messy, even if it's slow. You must learn to give yourself permission to be in process. You must learn to look at your scars and say, "This is what becoming looks like." The truth is, perfection is the enemy of growth. It paralyzes you. It convinces you that if you can't do something flawlessly, you shouldn't do it at all. But progress whispers differently. It says, "Begin anyway." It reminds you that greatness is built from small, consistent actions, not giant, perfect leaps. Every master you admire once stood where you stand now, uncertain, imperfect, learning. What separates them is not perfection, but persistence. When you focus only on perfection, you live in a constant state of dissatisfaction. You see flaws instead of progress, problems instead of possibility. But when you train your mind to see the good, even in the unfinished, even in the imperfect, you begin to notice the quiet miracles happening within you every day. The strength it took to get out of bed when your heart felt heavy, the patience you showed instead of anger, the moment you chose peace over reaction. These are victories, small yes but powerful, because every small victory becomes a brick in the foundation of a stronger you. Celebrate the days when you didn't give up. Celebrate the moments when you spoke kindly to yourself. Celebrate the tiny steps no one else sees. You don't need the world's applause to validate your journey. You need your own acknowledgement. Every time you pause to honor your progress, you reinforce the belief that growth is possible, and that belief is what transforms your life. Remember this, even the sunrise takes time. The sky doesn't go from dark to light in an instant. It brightens slowly, gently, moment by moment. Your growth is the same. It unfolds in layers, in patience, in quiet victories that no one may notice but you must. Because when you see the light in your own progress, you train your mind to see the light in everything. Most people wake up and immediately see what's missing, not what's there. They count their problems before they count their blessings. But the truth is, the mind sees what it's trained to see. You can walk through the same world as everyone else and still live in a completely different reality, simply because you've trained your mind to look for light instead of darkness.